What's up, Ram fans? And despite what transpired over the weekend, CTV Sports is back, and I'm Mike Walsh.
Heartbroken or not, the show must go on. I'm Leah Cackowski. Here's what we got on tap for you tonight.
Over 40,000 attended Canvas Stadium this weekend for the Rocky Mountain Showdown.
Women's soccer, volleyball, and tennis all worked to find a groove through tough schedules and away games.
And Neliah Rodriguez is back to talk through some of the current controversies in sports, and will also join Leah and I for another round of pick'ems.
All of that and more right here on CTV Sports, which starts right now.
And football is where we have to start. And as we hinted at earlier, this weekend may have left some Ram fans heartbroken. Why, you may ask?
Well, Mike, that's simple. Because to say the Rocky Mountain Showdown was a disappointment is an understatement for all who favor Colorado State.
Agree, Leah, with the Rams struggling for mostly the entire game outside of a very few small bright spots, with one of the Rams' 2 scores coming in just the first quarter. And it was only a field goal.
It was only a field goal.
I mean, just looking at it from quarter here, you saw the momentum in the first quarter, and that was it.
And even that drive alone looked like they could have scored a touchdown and then settled for a field goal. It was fine. And from there, I
think they settled there, and that just made the game just get out of hand.
I agree.
It favored the Buffs. The speed favored the Buffs. The Rams just couldn't keep up.
And even though having a star like Torrey Horton being out and not being able to play into the second half, there's still so many other factors on the team where we could have at least a little bit.
In that fourth quarter, I mean, we scored.
Yeah, I know. It was way too late.
The Rams score just wasn't enough.
No.
The stats weren't enough. It was just out of reach, I think, since that second quarter,
Yeah,
really.
the 2 back-to-back long-scoring drives by CU that... I mean, even looking at it right here, that's
just looking at the highlights, there are not many.
Not many. It was hard to find.
There was a few big plays in the fourth, the big run from Avery Morrow and the touchdown from Justin Marshall, and of course the field goal.
Right.
But just outside of that, this Rams team just didn't look like they had the energy of last year. They didn't have the plays they had last year. It just looked like a different team.
And even being in Fort Collins for the first time, like, fans were at the gates at 3:30 waiting.
40,000 people.
40,000 people completely sold out. It was standing room only in some parts too.
And people were there hours before they're running in. We've never seen that at Canvas State.
No, running in. And I think maybe a little bit of a part last week, this could be up for whatever kind of debate. It's like we were the clear underdogs going in with all that pressure and intensity. Maybe it was just not as much this time.
I think people saw the score last year and they were like, hey, this should be a close game.
Right.
But they were just completely shocked with this outcome.
Yeah, it was definitely not what I expected.
But overall, it favored the Buffs. So let's take a look at the box score for this game. With the Rams only taking the advantage on the ground, which is still nothing to be mad about, it just wasn't enough for Justin Marshall and company. But in hindsight, Braden in Fort Air Raid wasn't exactly ineffective. It was just too late when he made those big throws and got those good numbers in the stat sheet, but it just wasn't enough, as the numbers don't tell the full story in most games, but in this one, I think it kind of told the full story.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, it wasn't the best day for the Rams as a team, but there were some offensive players that did show out. So let's look at those. Starting with CSU side, okay, Braden, again, threw 209 passing yards, but if we look at last year, it was 367 passing yards, so definitely way less on that. And I think the thing that was the hardest was, again, the interceptions. The turnovers really, really killed the offense on this side.
The turnovers, the fumbles that we recovered in this game, it's just the Rams were just out of sorts.
I mean, like you said, Justin Marshall having that touchdown.
Bright spot. He's the bright spot of the year.
And if we look on Boulder's side of things, Travis Hunter is a name that goes around all of college football. He is one of the best players out there.
They want to talk about top 3 pick with him.
Yeah, and he, again, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Shador, he was trying to get his stats up this game. I mean, they were still driving really, really late into the fourth quarter.
The stats look really good.
They do. I mean, 310 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions.
No interceptions is huge.
And only 1 sack. And that's where you can kind of go into defense here a little bit, too, because...
And that's where it was last year. The Rams forced turnovers. This year, there just wasn't the defense, but there were still 2 defensive players in this game that you can highlight. You can highlight Travis Hunter, and you can highlight Jack Howell. Travis Hunter played amazing on offense, as you can see right there, but then you look at the defensive side, and he still had 3 tackles, 2 assisted tackles, and an interception, which was a crazy catch, by the way.
Having a 2-way player like that alone does so much for your team, and especially knowing that Shador can count on him on both sides of the ball is everything, and that's why they talk about him so much.
Shout out Jack Howell.
Yeah.
Led the team in tackles and assisted tackles.
But just... And he normally does.
Right, but there just wasn't enough help.
It wasn't enough, and again, Shador got pretty beat up when they played Nebraska about a week ago, and that just wasn't the same kind of intent. I thought this was going to be like a very, very, very hard defensive, aggressive game just because of the rivalry, but... Again, in the end, that's not as much as what we saw.
Not a great game.
No.
But, there's rich history behind
it. There
is.
If we go into the history of things.
Super rich history.
We've been talking about this for the past couple weeks leading into it. Again, This was the very first time that this game had been played since 1996 in Fort Collins. With that, again, first meeting goes back to 1893. These were all the statistics going into the showdown before this weekend.
It's not great for the Rams.
92 games played, so now 93. Colorado State Boulder extended their winning streak to 7 games now.
7 games in a row.
And again, it's only been played 28 times in Fort Collins, so that's just, they don't have the advantage with that side of things historically.
The 45 times in Boulder seems a little aggressive. I feel like there should be a little more equal.
I agree. And I mean, they played in Denver for quite some
years.
Those
are cool games.
Very cool. But again, fans kind of got out of hand. There had been tear gas at some of the games, and I think that's why they decided to keep it at college campuses, a little bit safer in that kind of a realm. But with all of that, there are so many questions. On what's next for the Rams, because there was a lot of big news, and that is because last week, the Green and Gold decided that they are heading to the Pac-12, and that sparked buzz across the entire state, as CSU has been part of the Mountain West since 1999. So let's take a look at the shift. If we remember, the Pac-12 dismantled and became the Pac-2 just this season. Most thinking the conference was done. And then the NCAA requires a minimum of 8 schools in a conference, granting Oregon State and Washington State a 2-year grace period to exist below the minimum, with founding teams such as Oregon and Washington going to the Big Ten, as well as USC. But not to worry, because as we know, the Pac is so back, with 4 Mountain West teams joining the group, including Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno, and CSU. So what does that leave the Mountain West? That means 8 teams remain, so that means they can still hold the minimum requirement to continue as a conference. That is if no other team decides to file to leave. So that still does leave a lot of questions. And there has been so many shifts in the last couple of years with teams across the country. So Mike, what do you think this means going forward for CSU as well as the Mountain West?
Well, first I'll talk about the Mountain West, who I think is also going to lose some more people. Air Force has already talked about going to the ACC, so I think we could realistically see a Mountain West dissolve, which is just super sad to see, obviously, for all CSU fans and just all Mountain West fans in general. But for the Mountain West, it's sad. It's a sad time for them. And
I know UNLV has been talking about going places. Wyoming is very upset.
UNLV, I think, was a surprise to not go to the Pac-12.
I agree.
I thought for sure UNLV was in.
If anything, I thought it would be them over Fresno, in my opinion. But it's a crazy change. And just thinking about how many schools have moved over within the last couple of years.
Realignment is moving everyone everywhere.
Everywhere. And again, the Pac-12 historically been a dominating conference, a powerhouse.
That's what I'm excited for. And CSU is in a power conference for now. We can call it a power conference for now until we see them all play together.
And we could even see maybe some Big Sky schools. There's, I don't know, there could be shifts there, but
for CSU, I think it's a good thing just because you're going to get a lot more media attention. You're in a better league with more money with it. So I think overall for CSU, it's going to benefit them.
I definitely agree. And you know, that was a lot of football talk. So let's switch over to a different kind of football. Take it away, Mike.
Well, Leah, this may be a different kind of football, but some of the things may be true across both sports, such as the common saying that defense wins championships. Now, this game was not a championship by any means, but it once again proved the importance of an organized defense. Coming down to the wire, the story was written in the 48th minute when Vanessa Murray of DU scored the ultimate game winner for the Pioneers. And not many knew the true importance of defense better than sophomore Mia Casey. She said, "For ourselves, it's defensive organization. I think the times that they were most dangerous was because we had a breakdown somewhere, whether it's in the midfield or the back or even up top. Keeley always talks about defense being our best form of offense and how defense can win championships." But despite the tough loss, the Rams' season is far from over. Let's take a peek at some of their next games. CSU will begin to see some conference opponents, starting with Air Force before finishing up the non-conference slate with Colorado College in the Springs. Those in-conference games hold more weight as the Rams try to claw their way back to a Mountain West tournament run. They need all the conference wins they can get. But that is a long ways down the road. For now, the Rams have to focus on Omaha this Friday. But now we're going to go inside to hear about volleyball. Leah?
Colorado State volleyball had a change of pace and hit the road to the Midwest and hoped to spark some momentum with their rocky start to the season. And well, Thursday night finally showed some promise, defeating DePaul 3-1. CSU came out firing in the first. Getting to 25 seemed easy thanks to kills from 6 different Rams. However, the Blue Demons were right there with them the second and third set, forcing a fourth. By then, CSU had its middle blocking groove, dominating the last set. This is all thanks to the sole energy force of the team, and that is none other than fifth-year senior Naima Weathers, other known as Nemo. She had a season-high 10 kills plus 4 blocks to add into the mix. She told CSU Athletics that, quote, "We wanted to run a specific type of play out of the middle in our scouting report through the match, and we just kept running it until it was effective. And then we were able to get a lot out of it. And even when they started blocking it, that's when everyone else started to light up." The team was completely in sync, as Weathers also mentioned how crucial it is to be a middle because the game depends on everyone else around you, so rallying was key. However, the result was not the same against the Notre Dame the following day, falling 3-1. The scenery was definitely different, participating in the Notre Dame Volleyball on Ice event where the game took place at the Compton Family Ice Arena, home to their hockey team. The energy rolled over from DePaul into the first set, but then completely gave out from there. CSU only put up a .131 hitting percentage and just overall couldn't keep up on offense. But good news, because the annual Golden Spike home-and-home series against the Buffs is finally here. The Rams get to host Colorado first on Thursday, and then they head to Boulder on Friday. Stay tuned for the Thursday night news show as our very own Zoe Weir will give you a live update of that score. Now, Mike, what's going on with tennis?
Well, Leah, this past weekend, the women's tennis team had a calm and composed 3 days of matches, according to head coach Miley Tran. Some players stood out, like Waterpik Student Athlete of the Week, Logan Beeks, for the Rams at the Bedford Cup down at the USAF Academy, going 3-1 on the weekend and making it to her individual championship. And now, looking into the stats of the rest of the team for the final day of play, the Rams saw a pretty strong finish, with 2 CSU freshmen getting some big wins. First with Maria Dobreva in 3 sets, and then Paisha Douglas with the exact same result. And she wasn't done just yet, as Douglas joined Victoria Zajinskaya in the doubles match, and they took home the win 6-4 over South Dakota. And after that, the quality weekend of play for the Rams, they now look to the John Messick Invitational right here at home on the weekend of the 27th before taking the trip to sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, where they will compete in the Mountain West Individuals, a 4-day event in a pretty cool location. So a promising start to the season for the Rams in what looks to be a packed few weeks. The Rams now look to enjoy their time off, but for now, I think it's time to take it off the courts and onto the course. Leah, what's going on with golf today?
Well, Mike, CSU men's golf teed off their first season this afternoon in the Rams Masters Invitational right here in Fort Collins. And as of now, the Rams are sitting at a really good spot. They're in second place at under 11, just behind Utah Tech, who is at under 12. Boulder is right behind CSU in third place at under 9, and some players that have standing out is Jake Rogers. It's second place under 6, so a really, really good start to what is a 2-day event, because tomorrow the green and gold are right back at it, and then they only have a couple of days rest before they travel down to Air Force for the weekend to compete in the Gene Miranda Invitational. But well, Rams, that is all the sporting news we have for you for now, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, our very own Neliah Rodriguez updates us with all things surrounding the NFL.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
How's it going, Ram fans? Welcome back from the break. I'm Neliah Rodriguez, here to talk some of the more unconventional news within the NFL and collegiate football worlds. Starting off with the latest buzz surrounding the detainment of Miami Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill. We all know Hill is lightning fast on the field, and according to Miami police, he is a bit too speedy off as well. Before showing his body cam footage, I will give a warning. This may be found disturbing to some of viewers. Hill was pulled over for careless driving and a seatbelt violation. Once police had Hill pulled over, he refused to roll down his window. He eventually rolled his window down just to roll it back up on officer's face. Hill was not complying with officers' orders, and one thing led to another, and Hill was in fact detained hours before kickoff against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Luckily for the Dolphins, Hill was able to play despite this disrupt, and the Dolphins did rise above the Jaguars, winning 20-17. And now, some upsetting news for those who decided to draft the 49ers superstar Christian McCaffery. It appears CMC will be sidelined until mid-October due to Achilles tendonitis. Even when he finally returns, McCaffery might not immediately perform at the superstar level we're used to. As his recovery timeline is unclear, this raises big questions for the 49ers, as fans are eager to see who will step up in his absence. Circling back to the Miami Dolphins, let's talk an injury that may be what puts QB Tua Tagovailoa into retirement. I will give another trigger warning for this injury footage. This guy has now 3 documented concussions over the short span of 3 seasons, with the most recent being last Thursday against the Buffalo Bills. Of course, this is raising concern within the NFL community. Fans, coaches, and family members urging for Tagovailoa to take some time off to think about his health and his future. Concussions are not an injury to take lightly, so whether Tagovailoa should continue to play football is a surface-level conversation. Although it would shift the play of the Miami Dolphins, Tagovailoa's health is what is most important. Shifting focus away from injuries to the heated moment in Houston on Sunday night when the Texans faced the Bears. After Texan Azeez Al-Shaair made a questionable sideline tackle on quarterback Kelly Williams, tensions escalated. Al-Shaair found himself caught in the middle of confrontation between several Bear players. Al-Shaair was fortunate during this confrontation's official missed a punch he threw at running back Roschon Johnson. Following his shove on tackle Darnell Wright, despite the chaos, no penalties or injections were enforced. The Texans did win their regular season home opener 19-13. Now let's talk more college football. Bringing it back to the Longhorns, Arch Manning, what a stud. He stepped up in relief of Quinn Ewers during the game against UTSA and put on a show. With 5 touchdowns, including a 67-yard run, his outstanding performance leaves fans buzzing and debating whether he should take over as QB1. And wondering, could Arch Manning be the new face of Texas football? Now for my personal favorite, the media rivalry between CSU and CU. From when the gates opened 2 hours before kickoff, this game was packed with tension and drama. This included pre-game trash talk to post-game fallout. Everything about this rivalry lived up to the hype, especially when CSU's QB, Braden Fowler-Nicolosi, poked at the Buffs saying, "We'll see how far Instagram followers get them." Not only that, near the end of the second quarter, Fowler-Nicolosi taunted Travis Hunter with a too small gesture after a 1-yard gain. Unfortunately for the Rams, they couldn't back it up, losing 28-9. After the game, Fowler-Nicolosi attempted to shake Shedeur Sanders' hand, and this is what Sanders had to say.
You that same talking shit on Instagram. You talking on Instagram. All right, keep talking about business. You can't fuck with me.
This game didn't deliver the score the Rams were hoping for, but it certainly delivered a show. In terms of that unconventional sports news, that is all the updates I have for now. But now it's time for another round of Pick'ems. Leah?
Thanks, Neliah. We are stoked you're able to join us for Pick'ems today. And if you've never joined us before, this is one of our favorite segments here at CTV. Sure. We introduce the game in, and then usually argue about why the others are wrong. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So game number 1, of course, is USC versus Michigan. Mike, take it away. What are your thoughts?
So the number 11 versus number 18 seed. I think this is not the national champion we saw a year ago in Michigan. So I'm gonna go with USC here.
Okay.
I think they have a really good passing offense, really good rushing offense. Michigan just doesn't show anything to me. In the games they've had, I mean, that Texas just complete beat down. I mean, they were last year they were competing with that team. This is a new team. I'm going USC.
Well, I'm actually going to counter you, but just because Texas is number 1, and I want to give Michigan a chance again at home. If they were at USC, I think it's no question. But maybe the energy will turn around being at home, and that's where I'm going. And USC is only 5.5-point favorites. That's pretty small. But at the same time, again, I don't know. They did lose by a lot, but they have a new quarterback. Michigan does too, so I want to give them a little bit of a chance.
USC they have that win over LSU.
Yeah,
makes
that at the beginning of the year too.
Big win.
Yeah.
Neliah, what do you think?
I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one, Mike.
Sweet.
I don't see Michigan pulling through against the defense, I would just say this is gonna be a great matchup. They're two powerhouse teams. But yeah, I'm just going to have to agree with you on this one, Mike.
Yeah, I think they score more points per game.
Yeah.
USC is a better scoring team, and Michigan's defense is not what it was.
Not great. I just really like to root for Michigan. So
I don't.
I know. That's what I feel like Nick Ortiz today. Arguing with Mike. It's great.
Devil's advocate. There you go. But we're going to stay in ranked territory for game number 2. Let's go to Utah versus Oklahoma State. Leah, let you start off.
Well, for me, I'm going to be going Oklahoma State on. Wait, actually, I think we're on Nebraska right now.
No, this is Utah versus Oklahoma State.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. We're going to do Oklahoma State. Yep. So I'm going Oklahoma State because again, they are also at home, and they have one of the best running backs, and I'm going with them because they have a really, really, really good quarterback as well.
They do.
I think they're taking the win on this one.
I cannot disagree with you. They have a great quarterback, but let me read you the stat from the Utah quarterback.
Okay, let's hear it.
This Utah quarterback, Cam Rising, he played in the first game, and he played a little bit of their second game.
He was hurt, though, right, during Baylor?
But he threw 18 total throws, and he had 7 touchdowns. In 18 total throws, he threw 7 touchdowns. Just that stat alone should tell you how good Cam Rising is. And he's played in college for, I think, 6 years.
Yeah, he is a 6 year.
He has all the experience. He has all the experience to win this game. So I'm going with Utah. Neliah, what do you think?
I'm also going with Utah, Mike.
There you go.
Great decision.
Love
Cam
it.
Rising is hungry for a win after coming back from that injury.
I agree.
Utah, Leah, risky pick, but yeah, Utah it is.
They are higher ranked.
Yep.
They're number 12. Oklahoma State is 14.
And Oklahoma State's scoring more. They're
yeah.
scoring more per game, but they're both 3-0. They're both quality teams.
Yep.
I just think Utah's got the experience. I think they take this one.
Oklahoma State has a really good defense, too. They have yet to allow a sack on the year, so I think their defense is going to be really strong and at home.
Look, I think this is a really close game.
All right, we got to see what's next.
We'll go to the next one.
Yep.
Leah?
Believe it or not, they still aren't the only ones fighting within the top 25. Tennessee versus Oklahoma. What do you guys got?
Leah, you want to start this one?
I gotta go Tennessee.
Yeah, I think we all do.
They,
I think we all do.
They are one of the best college football teams in the nation. They are number 6. 7-point favorites. Both teams are 3-0 on the year.
Yep.
So I just think it's a no-brainer for me. I'm going to go Tennessee.
I'm going to agree with you. I think Tennessee's wins are more impressive.
Yeah.
They beat a ranked NC State team. They mopped the floor with them.
Yeah.
51-10. And then they just won 71-0 last week. This team has all the momentum it needs. And I don't want to say this name wrong, but their quarterback
is amazing.
Neliah, I think is what it is.
Almost 700 yards.
Something like that. His stats are outstanding. 6 touchdowns already. I mean, I just think Tennessee is going to mop the floor.
Well, and they have a great running game, too. Dylan Sampson has 357 yards by himself.
He's averaging 8 yards.
With 9 touchdowns, too. So they have both sides of offense. So I think it's a no-brainer.
Neliah, I think you agree with us, but what do you think?
Yes, I do definitely agree. I think this is almost an unfair matchup. I just don't see Oklahoma.
15th.
They are. Oklahoma isn't going to be able to keep up with Tennessee.
And
I feel like it's going to be a blowout.
I mean, at Oklahoma definitely plays a role. I mean, Oklahoma's got a great home field advantage. I just think this Tennessee team is too good.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think it's going to be close in my opinion. But, guys, although I'm very hesitant to bring it up, CSU football does play again this weekend.
Tough subject.
Neliah, I want to hear your thoughts first.
Yeah,
what are we going to think about this game?
I'm going with CSU for sure. We're hungry for a win.
Okay.
We're back at home.
Yep.
I know that UTEP is also hungry for a win, but I just don't see it being against CSU. Mike, Leah, what do you think?
This is not the team that beats us.
It's not. It can't be.
It will be a very sad day in Ram country if we cannot beat University of Texas El Paso.
Yeah, I had to remember what it stood for earlier today. So
this is just a team that CSU should go in. It should be like Northern Colorado. Handle their business. A nice, easy win over a lesser team.
Especially it'll just feel like a weight lifted off their shoulders. Just get one going. Start over.
Go into conference play. Get some good wins there.
Good wins. Hopefully a great crowd. State Pride weekend's always really fun. Usually it's against Air Force.
Repping the blue.
Blue today. Got to go represent State Pride, but. Yeah, we got to go for CSU.
I'm glad we're all going CSU this week. I hate when we have someone choosing against CSU on the show. But to wrap things up for college ball, we have a pretty good one here. We got Nebraska versus Illinois. This is a tough one. I mean,
it is really tough.
Their rankings are super close. I'm going to go with Illinois here, but I want to let you guys go first.
Okay.
I want you guys go first.
Neliah, let's hear it.
I'm definitely going with Nebraska. I just like what they did to CU.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
They came up and they showed out. And also, I just think that they're going to bring that momentum that they had, and just show out in this game too.
I agree with you. I mean, and that game was at home. This game is also at Nebraska again. The only reason I agree with you, Mike, I think this is going to be a really close game because Nebraska hasn't played a lot of great teams.
These are evenly matched teams. So for me, the reason I'm going with Illinois, but one of the reasons is that they beat a ranked Kansas team.
Yes.
I don't think this Kansas team is great.
But at least they
were ranked, and Illinois got the big win over them. Those football fans are feeling good, going 3-0. I do love the story in Nebraska. I just think this week it might be the Fighting Illini.
And their freshman quarterback has been doing amazing. His 74 completion percentage.
0 interceptions.
No interceptions.
I mean, that's pretty good.
This is the first time they've been 3-0 since 2016.
Yeah.
So they're having a really good start. They do.
Both teams deserve this, honestly.
Yeah. And so I think I don't know. I'm going to go Nebraska, but I see where you're going with Illinois.
All right. All right. We want to go to the NFL game?
Yeah. What do we got? Last but not least.
Last but not least, the Broncos are still trying to get their first win this week against the Bucs. Mike, Leah, what are your thoughts on that game?
This is just a tough one. I hate going against the teams. I hate going against the Rams, and I hate going against the Broncos. But the Broncos just disappointed me. They've been disappointing me. I got to go Bucs here. I got to go Bucs here. I like Baker. I like this team. They did me well last week when I chose them over the Lions, which was an upset win.
Yep.
So I'm riding with the Bucs again.
I have to go Bucs. Yep. I am not going to give the Broncos a chance until they show me that I can give them a chance at being a good football team. So we're Broncos, or not Broncos. Oh my gosh, Bucs.
Definitely don't go Broncos.
We're jinxing it. Yep.
Neliah, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you guys. I'm going with the Broncos.
Oh,
I'm going for the upset. I'm going for the underdogs. I know that the Bucs do have about 11 sidelined, so what does that mean for the gameplay?
I mean, it's tough missing people. I just don't think those people are
I don't think so either.
But it's all right. We can stop with the picks.
Yeah,
we'll move it on.
We'll move on to the next thing because after the quick break, familiar face Matt Greenwald is back on Suiting Up, so don't go anywhere just yet, Rams.
I'll be right back. Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a big guy running around hitting people? That's right, I'm talking about an offensive lineman. In my newest video, I got to suit up and become an offensive lineman. Check it out.
Welcome back to Suiting Up. I know it's been a while and I apologize, but we're back, so that's all that matters. Today we have a very amazing show with two of my favorite people on the team.
My name is Drew Moss.
Oh, it's not. It's Jacob Gardner. My name is Drew Moss.
O-lineman, what is your go-to meal before a big game? Is it a whole pizza or just half?
Meatballs.
Green beans.
How many meatballs?
Lots of meatballs.
Only meatballs?
For me, yes.
Drew, they call you Big Nasty. Why is that?
Because I'm just nasty. I like to move people, man. That's all.
Can you describe the ways you get nasty?
I just play football,
meatballs.
Man. As many meatballs as I can eat.
Describe to me a double team.
You got a dude, and you try and get your hips kind of like this, and you move them so you can't split it.
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want them to split it, so.
Why do offensive linemen breathe so heavy?
Obesity.
Childhood obesity.
Yeah.
True or false? You farted while Braden's been under center.
True. That's very true.
Sharded.
How many times a day do you just randomly pass pro?
First thing I do when I wake up, pass pro to the same specialties.
Instead of the Bass Pro Shop, let's do Pass Pro Shop.
Ooh, that's a good hat.
TM.
Okay, hey everybody, we're here and we're gonna try out reps. Okay, you know you want to be an O-lineman, but you don't want to get beat up. You don't want to be big. Try reps. The left tackle is the most important position in football, in my opinion. The left tackle kick steps and makes sure the quarterback's blind spot is taken care of. So let's see how I do at left tackle. Where are you? Keep it, Mike. All right, as an offensive lineman, I'm told health is super important. So I went to the store, I did some research, and we got some snacks. We got some Mike and Ike's, sweetest fish, baby.
it's really important to hydrate. So my crew here has filled me up with something I don't know. I'm looking forward to that.
I got my zero sugar Dr. Pepper before I get back out there to replenish my electrolytes. I was not planning on that. Oh my God. Halftime was good. Got some good sweets in me. Whoever shook up my Dr. Pepper, my sugar-free, coming for you.
We got 4 linemen here. I put up trash cans to simulate the D linemen. It's not logging in. Okay, step up. Check up, double team.
Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, coaches watching from different schools. Reps helps us prepare for the big game, as you couldn't tell. Reps makes me, not an offensive lineman, be a dominating offensive lineman. So I'd suggest you get yourself a pair of reps. Outro over.
Well, that's all that we have for you on today's amazing sports show. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week. You better tune in.
Good job, Matt.
Dude, I had to make that one up.